Hey y'all, hope you're having a great day. Today I'm doing a 2024 presidential election prediction because I think that will be a great day. November 5th, I think that's going to be a great day when Trump wins the election and is coming to save the country. Now, before I start, comment below who you think's going to win. I obviously have said I think Trump's going to win. Now let's get into this. We're going to start with the safe states. North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Nebraska at large. Everything except for Nebraska's second easily is going to be safe for Trump. Kansas, I think, will be safe. Oklahoma. We know most of these states. They are all safe states. We don't really have to talk about them at all. We know how these people vote. Iowa's going to be safe, I'd say this time. Alaska will be safe. And then Maine's second. Safe for Biden for the first. And I would say at this point, I think it's safe to say Ohio will be safe this cycle. I don't think it's going to be a likely margin. I think he wins it safe. Now we'll fill out Biden's Hawaii, California, Illinois. Now Oregon and Washington, I will say he is going to win them safe. However, a little bit of an asterisk. I think it could be closer. There was a few polls here and there that showed it a little closer. At the end of the day, a lot of the polling still seems to show it as a safe margin. I do think they're going to be safe. However, again, I add, Republicans could make the state a little bit, both of the states, a little closer, a little bit more competitive in the next few years. Again, it's going to take a bit of time before it shifts any closer, but it could very well shift a bit in favor of Republicans over the next few years. Now, continuing safe margins, DC, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Maryland, most of these, except for New Hampshire, not New Hampshire. And actually, before I continue with New Jersey, we did see some polling. If you look a little closer here, most of the polling has shown the state is a lot closer. I keep missing it. A lot closer than it originally was in 2020. If you look at New Jersey in 2020, Biden won it by 16 points. That's a massive margin. That's a very, very safe margin. However, as we're seeing now, the four polls we've gotten, two of which are Robert F. Kennedy polls, the only other two we have are Emerson College polls, and they have Biden up by 5 and 6, respectively. That's it. And those came out in March, so we really don't have a lot of information on the state. Trump did a rally around that area during the trial. So again, he kind of might have played a little bit there. I don't think he wins it. I think he could make it likely Democrat. Like the margin will definitely get closer. I think he still wins it safe as of now. I'd like to see some more polling data before I can really say anything else. New York, similar case here. Could be safe, could be likely. With New York, you have a really unpopular governor, Kathy Hochul. People despise her. She's destroying the state. The state is completely ruined. It's not the former glory it used to be. Trump has or had been locked up there for a while because of the case, kind of stuck on the main island. He did a couple little events, and lots of people showed up. Unscheduled events, and you had hundreds of people showing up to that, even in a highly Democrat area. So people are starting to gravitate towards Trump. He's becoming more popular. And especially in a state like New York, the main issue with it is you go here, pretty much all of the voting power is right here. It's basically all in Manhattan, and that area, for the most part, has always voted very Democrat. Well, not always, but for the last few cycles, it's been very Democrat. It's gotten a little closer. If you look back at the 2022 midterms, you saw that Lee Zeldin got the election with Kathy Hochul quite close. Now, again, Hochul was very unpopular, and Zeldin is a very good candidate. And I think if Trump were to choose someone like Zeldin as his VP, which I really don't think he's going to at this point, that would definitely really improve the margins in a state like New York. But again, I don't think he can win it, and I don't think it's worth putting that much time and money and effort into it. Could he win it? Or could Biden maybe fall into a likely category with it? Maybe the last poll showed that it was 10. Poll before that was 7. Biden plus 9, and then Biden 19, which I could also see being a very possible outcome. But based on the information, I would say realistically, it'll be safe, but 10 to 12 points, somewhere in that margin. Moving on, these are all of the safe states at this point. There's really nothing else that I could say is safe for anybody. We'll do likely for the Democrat, for the Joe Biden, Colorado, New Mexico. Both of them haven't voted Republican in a while. They've been shifting to the left a fair bit. New Mexico was, I think, 11 points. 11 points Biden last election. Trump is probably going to make it a bit closer. He even said the state's in play. I don't think he wins it. He might get it into a lean margin. At the end of the day, I still don't think he wins it. Colorado has severely shifted to the right. It went 14 points for Biden. I think Trump might be able to get it under 10, but I think that's pretty much as far as he can possibly get it again. The state is rapidly moving to the left. Lots of crazy, idiotic left wingers who have destroyed this beautiful state of California of its once former glory are all fleeing to Colorado and deciding, let's do the same thing there because our amazing policies worked so well before. Either way, Colorado is probably gone for Republicans for a while. Next up, we're going to do the likely Republican, Texas. Democrats have kind of tried to claim, oh, Texas is in play. Oh, it's a purple state. It's not. It's not. Anyone who's saying that is just wrong. It's going to be a very long time before I think Texas actually flips. It's still pretty much a safe state. Ted Cruz is going to win by a much bigger margin this time. Trump will definitely help bring him up. Most of the polling out of the state shows that it's back to closer to Trump's 2016 margin, not his 2020, where he only won it by about 4-ish points or something. Don't know the exact, about 4. Trump seems to be doing a lot better there. I think the state, since Hispanics especially, if you look right here in Texas, if you look and you look at the shift from 2016 alone, the Dallas metro area and the Austin, San Antonio, Houston areas all shifted a bit to the left. But you see along the border here, we see massive shifts to the right because the overall population in these areas are highly Hispanic, and Hispanic people have mostly moved away from Biden. Not entirely. It's a lot closer than it used to be, and Trump is doing a lot better with these people. As a result, I think Texas is partially shifting back because there are so many Hispanics there, and that also affects state like New Mexico and Arizona, which, again, is going to be important because these two states here, we kind of need at least one of them possibly to win the election. Now, Trump's going to win Florida. The state is no longer in play for the Democrats. It's long gone. Trump and DeSantis have made that 100% certain. North Carolina is not in play, no matter how much a Democrat claims it. Joe Biden and them, no, they're not winning it. They're not focusing on it. And at this point, I'd say that's almost all. However, there's one interesting swing state on here that I think will be likely, and that's Nevada. If you looked at Nevada in 2020, you would not think it would shift that far. However, as you see, the state for the most part shifted to the right. We just needed Clark County to win, and it did shift to the right. Now, 2020, Biden won it by about 2-ish points. 2022, Joe Lombardo wins the governorship and Laxalt loses by a hair. If he got more funding and the establishment wasn't trying to sabotage us, wasting our money, we could have gotten Adam Laxalt over the line and we would have probably had the Senate majority right now. But no, they threw that out the window. Anyway, I digress. Nevada, if you look at the current polling, if I can find it, there it is. Nevada right here is polling at 5.3 points for Trump. There's an interesting New York Times Siena poll here, and it's not like that's a right-wing pollster. It has Trump winning it by 13, which is insane. But even this Cook Political Report, +9, and then Bloomberg Morning Consult has a tie poll, and then all these other ones are much bigger. I probably would throw that one out. I don't know if I would take that one either. That's a little bit extreme. But I think around 5 points is a fairly safe estimate of where I would imagine that the state will land. And post-verdict, I don't think really changes anything. Trump's doing well in Nevada because of, I'd say some of it now is from his proposal to eliminate the income tax on tips, which is big in the state. The service industry is the bulk of the economy in Nevada with Las Vegas. You do that, that makes you very popular with people there. So again, I think Trump wins that likely. That's a big flip. That's pretty cool to see. Moving on, we have Pennsylvania. Now, Pennsylvania is basically what Trump needs to win the election. If he wins Pennsylvania, the election is won, no matter what. If we look at the polling for Pennsylvania here, Trump is winning by 2.3. Is that likely? No. However, he needs one of these two to win. Georgia, he's also polling quite well. Polling much better, 4.8. And at the end of the day, I think he wins Georgia in a likely margin now that I think about it. With Pennsylvania, he wins it if he wins this, and he's polling 2.3 ahead. I think Trump realistically wins the state. Post-verdict, people don't care. The people of Pennsylvania don't want Scranton Joe, because he's really not from there. He doesn't care. He's not relatable to them. Unlike Trump, who relates to these kinds of people. So at the end of the day, I'd say this goes lean, and Arizona goes lean as well. It could potentially go likely, but honestly, I think it goes lean right now. 4.6, it'll probably go lean. It'll just barely be under the 5. But it could hit the 5. I could be wrong. Now, the last few states here, New Hampshire probably goes for Biden by a lean margin. Trump's already won at this point, I should mention. At the end of the day, these two are the tightest if we look at the polling. By far, Michigan and Wisconsin 0.1 for Trump, and then Michigan 0.3. However, Trump is holding the lead. And again, the polling could be a little bit off. We could see Trump outperform some of these polls. At the end of the day, who knows? Maybe Trump does better in these two states than that. But I'd say these are both tilt for Trump. Trump's going to win in a pretty big landslide, I'd say. And obviously, I don't think Trump can win the 2nd district in Nebraska. Now, Virginia and Minnesota, these are the two most interesting along with Maine. These could all be flips for Trump. They are all in play. They're all basically swing states right now. Trump's doing quite well in these states. So if we look at Minnesota, I guess we'll just go left to right. That Trump is barely behind Biden and has been barely behind him for quite a while. If we disregard these, most of these, again, they're mostly just the McLaughlin and Associates insider polls for Trump. We did get a couple others here that had it a little closer for Biden, but all of Trump's internals have him winning it. Now, I don't know if he wins it by these margins, and I don't know if these ones are 100% accurate either. These two could both be a little off. Either way, I think it's safe to say that the answer's somewhere in the middle, and I think the state could go either way. Right now, I don't know. I think it probably ever so slightly tilts to Biden. And another thing that we have to consider with this election, Trump's overall margin is better with third-party candidates. He's 0.8 right now. He's held a 0.8 despite the verdict. And he holds a 2.9 despite the verdict. If you include Kennedy, Stein, and West, I don't think Kennedy's going to get over 5% of the vote. Stein and West realistically get about 1, but that still helps Trump. So Trump, again, is going to win the popular vote in this case, no matter what. Next up, we have Virginia, just to finish off. I think Trump might realistically pull this one off. It could be in play. I have a video coming out kind of going in depth on Virginia soon. With all of the polling, we see that it's quite close. 1 even, 2 even, 4 for Biden, 1 for Biden, 3 for Biden, 1 for Biden. These two don't matter. And some of these are post-verdict. These two right here are post-verdict right here. Yes, they're Fox News polls, but Fox News isn't really a right-wing pollster. They are usually pretty left-wing with a lot of their polls, the people that do their polls. And it shows Biden being tied and then winning by 1. That's post-verdict in the state of Virginia, a state that, I'll remind you, went for Biden by 10.01, by 10.1%. That's a safe margin. The fact that it's in a dead heat right now is insane, and I think Trump might pull it off. I don't know for sure if I can say that he will, but it's in play. Right now, I still think tilt for Biden, but ever so slightly. And then lastly, we have Maine. This one I do think Trump flips. Realistically, I think this is his most likely chance right now with all of the polling we've seen. 5 different polls from April 8th to 30th by Digital Research. That's it. That's all we really have right now. And then a couple Robert F. Kennedys, and then you go all the way back to February. Doesn't really matter. One showed Trump winning by 20, which he's not going to do. Let's be honest, he's not going to do it. It'd be insane, but it won't happen. So, end of the day, Trump leads all but 2. One Biden just barely wins. One is completely dead even. I think Trump will pull it off, but it'll be close. Very close. So that's my prediction right there. I think Trump wins the election with the popular vote, and he wins in a pretty big landslide, 314 electoral votes. Biden is pretty much screwed. Unless they have some plan to replace him, I don't think they win this election. Everything they've tried has failed. They can't get him on the convictions. Biden's done. He's done on arrival, and Trump will easily sweep the floor, and hopefully that will carry up some other Republicans down ballot, and we can have a trifecta so Trump's agenda can be properly implemented, and we can make this country better. Anyway, if you enjoyed that video, everybody, again, comment down below who you think's going to win, what you think the margins might be. Leave a like on the video and subscribe if you are new. Anyways, have a good day, all.